It is a dark and rainy night in northern Washington, but we're still going to work on the greatest vehicle ever designed by human beings, the 1987 4x4 Toyota van. What you're going to need is socket wrench, some kind of pry bar. This one's the coolest. I have a very long socket wrench just as a breaker bar, 14 millimeter socket. Some clamps. I got a C-clamp and one of these, I don't know what kind of clamp this is. Very thin piece of wood. Look how thin that puppy is. Something to take your tires off. You gotta have a jack it up, chalk your wheels, safety first. And when I went to the auto parts store to get these brake pads, they did not have them in stock, so I did some research and got these ones. They seem to fit. I've already done the other side of the car and they work just fine. So these are Brake Best disc brake pads. Here's the part number if you want to copy that down, because yeah, they did not stock these for some reason. These are, I think these might be from the two-wheel drive 1986 model, but they work for the front. Backs are different. Okay, so I got my tire off. Here's my rotor and here's my shoe. Here's the caliper. So these are super simple. All you need to do is take off one bolt, and it is right here. This puppy right there. It's a 14 millimeter, and it can be kind of hard to take off. So I have a very large socket wrench. See if I can do this with one hand while I film. Yeah. It is. And then once you get it loose, this one is usually pretty, yeah, you can just do it with your hand for sure. There we go. And while you're working in here, if you've never done brakes before, watch out for your hoses, your brake lines. This puppy back here, I don't know what this is called, your like rubber sock around your CV joints. You know, try not to puncture any of this stuff. Be careful, because fixing anything on these vans is super expensive because you can't find parts for them anymore. So then we pull this up. If you can't, if it's a little bit stuck, you might have to pry it. Let's get a pry bar. Got my brake pads out on the ground, and the next thing we're gonna have to do is compress the two caliper pistons. So see how these two puppies are sticking out a little bit? We're gonna have to push those in. So I'm gonna go get my vices and a piece of wood. Okay, and another thing, this is not absolutely necessary, but if you want this thing up out of your way, I've just tied a string to it, and that string is going to my seat. So as you can see, I've done the same thing with my shop light, but now that's up out of the way and I don't have to hold it, so it's something you can do. So now we're gonna compress these caliper pistons, and I have been told that it is bad to just put a clamp on like this and push it in, that these, the piston itself can get cockeyed. So to put a piece of wood in here and then clamp the wood so it gives more of an even press. And because this car has two pistons, I'm gonna do it twice. Oh, let's zoom out. Here we go. So you can kind of see here, I have it clamped around the back there. Okay, I got that one mostly down. But the second one's a little harder to get, so I have to use this puppy. Okay, got it. Now let's see if I can get the brake pads in. Back one's really easy. Just sits right in there. The other one, this one can be kind of hard to get into this top. Yeah. There we go. Just a little bit of fiddling. These things right here, can you see this? The little tab on this side. Yeah. This one you really gotta push this to the right to get it out of the way. So let's see if it fits. So this thing, this entire thing will slide left and right once it's up top, so make sure it's in the right spot. You might have to pull it toward the outside of the car a little bit. And then these little metal plates on the side, you might need to hold those on. So yeah, like that just happened. You might need to hold the metal plate on so they don't slip out. And I feel something sticking. There we go. All right, so then we're gonna take our bolt. Put the bolt back in. You might need to wiggle this up and down a little bit while you push on the bolt to get it in the right spot, because all the way down isn't exactly right. And you'll feel it when it's in there. Yeah. And you can do most of it with your hand, and then for tightening it, we don't need to use the big breaker bar anymore, so we can just grab a regular size wrench, or heck, even an impact wrench if you got one. But don't go too hard. There we go. So as I put the wheel back on, we are good to go. Looks great. Our wheels are back on. We're looking good. I'm gonna drive it around for a little bit, make sure they're good, pump the brakes a bunch in reverse is what I've been told. Might bleed them, but I don't think I have to. I didn't have to on the Previa. So yeah, like, subscribe, and ring that bell if you wanna keep learning with me. I got this van. It's not my first, and was not in good shape, so I'm restoring it. Redoing the interior myself, gonna reupholster everything. The next thing I'm gonna do the rear brakes, which I believe are drum brakes. Then I'm gonna change out the power steering pump, and then I'm gonna lift this van. So, you know, follow along with me if you are lucky enough to have one of these amazing vehicles that are quite rare now. Gonna figure it all out. And if you're just now starting to work on your own 80s van wagon and you have not checked out the Toyota Van Tech forum, go here. This place has been a lifesaver for me many times, and I'm just now starting to contribute. So party on, catch y'all later. All right, out here the next morning. I've been driving, pumping the brakes a little bit, and I think we're gonna have success at this stop sign. Let's see, we got Luna. Hi, Luna. Hi. Oh, here's the stop sign. Oh, yeah, that's some good breakage. Much better than it was. I still have to do the back brakes, but I feel much better driving around now. Here we go. All right, it's the evening of the next day. I just put about 300 miles on these brake pads, driving out to the Iron Creek campground here in this national forest. And yeah, did great. I didn't have to bleed the brake lines like I thought I might have to. They really, just after a couple of miles of starting and going, and turned out great. You might see on the roof here, my catalytic converter and the muffler came off on a very bumpy road, so I'm gonna have to put those back on. Maybe I'll make a video about that too, but that's another story. The brake pads did amazing.